Hey everyone, Drew Horn here. Thanks for joining us at Illuminate 2020 in the DevOps track. Today, we're going to be talking a little bit about releasing high quality code faster through optimizing CI/CD pipelines. Just a quick agenda today. We're going to go through some intros. Then we're going to talk a little bit about some of the challenges and how teams are optimizing the CI/CD pipeline. And then we're going to jump into a Gannett use case. We're going to talk about the Gannett quality mission, and then we're going to talk about how Sumo logic is being used at Gannett. And then finally, some next steps around how we're adding to the dashboards that Gannett are using to give them better visibility into the CI/CD process. So who am I? According to Sumo, one of my sales peers put this lovely meme together in my first month at Sumo. I am the technical business director for apps, integrations, and solutions at Sumo Logic, and apparently I've got your integrations right here. Mike?
Hi, thank you, Drew. My name is Mike, and these are the data points about me. So first and foremost, I am a father, and this is a picture of me and my boys playing on a climbing wall I built for them in our house to burn off some energy. Additionally, I am coined a troublemaker. And when this text came through the system over one of my employers, I laughed out loud and giggled hard because I'm coined a troublemaker, and I'm okay with being a troublemaker because inside the QA industry, I feel you have to continually ask the questions why to figure out the problems that we're trying to solve. So I'm okay with being a troublemaker. I like to play outside the rules, as you can see from my younger years of playing in my toy box, not storing the toys in there. Additionally, another data point about me is that my wife and I are licensed foster care parents, and we're advocates for the Utah Foster Care Foundation, and all of our children are adopted.
Great, thanks, Mike. So I just wanted to spend a couple minutes talking about some of the challenges related to building and developing software, as well as the solution that we put together here at Sumo Logic. So I think everyone's familiar with this diagram here in the middle. We're looking at the software development or DevOps lifecycle, call it what you want. This is a process that at a high level is very similar across all of the organizations and teams that are building and developing modern software. However, one of the challenges here is that when it comes to the actual implementation, a lot of the different teams, even at a single organization, are implementing their pipelines differently. And one of the challenges that creates is pipeline diversity or pipeline sprawl. Looking at kind of the items below the pipeline, we have all of the different constituents or all of the different teams that are involved in the software development lifecycle. And so when it comes from ideation and going all the way down to the pipeline into production, there's several different pairs of eyes, right, that are looking at and touching the software as it's being built and tested and released and deployed. And any friction that occurs at any of those stages is going to potentially hold up the build and test process or slow down deployments and affect your lead time overall. Another challenge is, teams are encouraged to use the tools that work best for them when it comes to building and developing and deploying software. And that's really helpful for individual teams. They're using the tools that they want and they know that they know well. However, again, when you start trying to collect data across all of the different teams and understand how best can we optimize our software development and delivery processes across the organization, this can become a big challenge. All of these tools are emitting data of a different structure. They only provide siloed kind of views of the full DevOps lifecycle. And so kind of summing all of that up, right, teams build and deliver software differently. The DevOps tool chain is fragmented and fraught with data silos. This results in poor or limited collaboration across teams, and it also drives a lack of visibility across the DevOps lifecycle, and finally creates challenges around building standard data-driven and metrics and insights to help optimize software development and delivery. So talking a little bit about our solution, it's called Software Development Optimization. We put this solution together to try to solve these challenges, right? So what we're doing is we're allowing teams, they can take any software in the DevOps tool chain from the software development ecosystem, and they can plug that directly into Sumo logic. And what we do here that's a little bit different from some of the other solutions out there is we leverage the power of our analytics platform to enrich, normalize, and correlate that data across the entire software development process. What that allows us to do is real-time performance benchmarking of the deployment pipeline, as well as end-to-end optimization. So what we're doing is we're taking all of these logs that are being fed into our platform. We're deriving some performance metrics that I'm going to talk about a little bit in a second that tell teams how they're performing. And then we're providing some underlying metrics and actionable insights that show teams, how are these processes contributing to positive or negative trends in their software development and delivery performance. The end goal here is to provide teams this visibility so that they can make data-driven decisions around how to optimize these processes. And what that correlates to, what that leads to, is faster release velocity, improved reliability and security, as well as greater team collaboration. So let's talk about some of the industry-leading metrics that organizations use to benchmark their software delivery performance. Over the past 7 years, DORA, or DevOps Research and Assessment, has identified 4 key metrics that are tied to software delivery performance. If you're an organization that is building software and is looking to get better at releasing revenue generating features faster and more reliably, then these are the 4 metrics that you really want to focus on. So the 2 on the left are measures of market agility or throughput. You have deployment frequency, which is how often code is deployed to production. And you have lead time, which is the time from merge commit to deployment to production. Then on the right, you have measures of reliability. You have mean time to recovery, or MTTR, and that's how long it takes to recover from production incidents. And then finally, change failure rate, which is the percent of deployments that subsequently require remediation. These are really important metrics to monitor. And with the solution here at Sumo Logic, we make it really easy to pull in data from all of the different SaaS tools that you're using as part of your DevOps lifecycle and aggregate all of that data into our platform so that these metrics can be computed in real time, again, by correlating data from across all of those tools. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hand it over to Mike next and have him talk through a little bit of how Gannett is leveraging our platform to optimize their CI/CD pipeline.
Thanks, Drew. That's a lot of information to cover. And so what I'm going to be showing is some information associated with who we are and why we're involved with the software development observability process. Here at Gannett, we are the leading and local national media and market solution company. We span 46 states of coverage for local media, as well as the USA Today network for the nationwide news gathering that we have. We have lots of moving parts within our organization to be able to support our end users using our systems to get quality data for their news. We have 2,000 plus journalists, 100 plus newsrooms, 150 million unique users each month. We have 1.1 billion users, monthly page views, and we have over 500 plus digital products that span the United States as well as some coverage inside of Europe. As part of the Gannett mission, as the aspect associated with quality, we wanted to be able to gather data to help support the DORA metrics that Drew just spoke about, to be able to have this data globally accessible to the organization, from the executive level down to the lower systems, to be able to say the individual development teams, the individual application teams, to be able to see the state and quality of their deliverables that they're providing for the USA Today network. What that provides is it provides a global accountability to the quality of what we are delivering. It also improves the quality knowledge within the organization, and it provides transparency to the whole organization so that we can figure out what's happening with our data and to speed up the release cycles of innovative ideas that we produce within our network. So that's coverage about our mission. Now what I'm going to be showing is some data points or dashboards into some of the visibilities that we have created for use within the organization at USA Today. The first dashboard that I want to show is it's tracking metrics associated with quality. And when I say quality, I mean the test results that we're actually executing. And as you can see, the numbers are high. we have lots of data testing that we are doing associated with quality to make sure that the applications that we release are very stable and can meet the high demand that we have with our usership. What we're tracking here is pass percentage rate, failure rates, as well as skip counts. And some of you might be asking yourselves, why would you care about skips? Skips are important when we're looking at testing, because if you are executing skip tests, you are utilizing resources and spending money on test and logic that's not being used. And so we look at these metrics to decide, hey, is this something that we should be doing? And if it is, let's fix it so that we can get it to pass. If it's not, let's delete it out of our test suites and make sure that our pass percentages are improved. The next dashboard that I'm going to be showing you is giving you some results associated with our build times. So as part of the DORA metrics, we want to be able to make sure that the quality of our build states and the build times are low. And so what this dashboard is showing you is spikes that we have associated with the pass failure rates specific to individual builds. And as you can see, we have lots of builds running. We can also narrow the data down and filter it down into aspects of individual teams and who's doing what and where and how and why are they doing that. We can check their metrics based on their pass percentage rates down to the individual team. And again, it's not necessarily to point fingers or place blame on what's going on. It helps us have quality conversations with people and the teams to make sure that we can make the right decisions using quality data. Another view that I'm showing here is the pass, or excuse me, not the pass, but the failed percentage rate. And this is important because the way we've lined this up is on the right side is the 2-week span of a sprint, and on the left side is the 1 week. So what's happening this week, and then what's happening over the whole sprint, running a 2-week sprint cycle. We categorize the data based on certain testing types that we are executing, and you can see what's happening as far as percent-wise in the lower 2 panels. As I mentioned before, skip tests are important, and we want to analyze what's going on there. And you can see the ups and downs, the ebbs and flows of this data. And we have that isolated down by product, by test type. And again, this flows based on the 2-week cycle of a sprint for this week and what's happened overall. The next slide is one of my favorite slides. This dashboard presents data to a specific application. There's a certain testing type that we do within the organization that does analytics testing. And this is very key to the organization because we want to make sure that our analytics calls that are firing on our pages, of all those pages that our end users are looking at, are firing correctly. If they're not firing correctly, we're not getting paid correctly. And we need to make sure that that's correct. So this is one of my favorite dashboards that we put together to provide the insight that we need to see. As part of the initiative we have going on with our organization, we're transitioning some of our local media sites into a standardized production environment, and that platform has to be tested to make sure that those migrations are working correctly. And this dashboard has actually been key to that migration process because we can see within 15 seconds of when a deployment has happened, whether or not the results are happening correctly. So the way we break this stuff down is that we have a timeline of what's happening within our organization for each one of the vendors that we're looking for. And then we break it down by pass failure type for page type, types of vendors, what platform it's going on, and all of the markets that we have migrated over to this new platform. So this is one of the key dashboards that we use within an organization, and it's pretty exciting and fun to watch or look through. Another aspect of quality is that we have a strong initiative to make sure that the performance of our pages are on point. And so we do some web page test performance testing. And this dashboard is a representation of that data that's coming into the system. These are fun to see because we can see when the page loads for the first time. We can see how fast that's taking or how long that's taking. And then we can make adjustments to the page load times or the data load times behind the scenes to make sure that our performance is still on point. Also associated with the quality mission at the beginning that I spoke about is that we want to make sure that the quality knowledge within the organization increases. And what we're looking for is gaps within those knowledge, and so that we can use those as training exercises to help improve development practices, quality practices, or just a general understanding of how we deem quality and why it's so important. One of my mantras and philosophies associated with quality is a team effort. And we want to make sure that everybody is focused on quality, because at the end of the day, we need to make sure that quality is actually out there for all of these local sites and media outlets that we have. So what we're representing here is actual visibility into our repos associated with our GitHub activity. We want to see, hey, who has too many PRs open? How long are the PRs open? Are they not closing PRs? Are they doing lots of commenting on PRs? And then we can use this data to help educate the development teams and the quality teams to make sure that things are flowing through the system in an appropriate manner. Now I'm going to turn the time back over to Drew, and he's going to talk about some of the new dashboarding that they're coming up with.
Great, thanks, Mike. So what I want to do is talk about some of the next steps that we're doing in partnership with Gannett. What we have here are a couple of dashboards that we're working on. And the first dashboard that I'm going to show here are the key 4 DORA metrics. So as we mentioned earlier, we have deployment frequency on the left with some time series and trend data. Same with lead time, change failure rate, and time to restore service. What's nice about this dashboard is that we've baked in the benchmarks from the 2019 State of DevOps report. So for elite performers, right, you're going to get a green dashboard, and then as you're kind of in the high or middle or low range of performance, we're going to show that right here on the dashboard, so you can drill down into some of our drill down charts and then get a better understanding of what's contributing to these metrics. Another way to view the data is our CI/CD pipeline overview. And so what we've done here is, if you remember, the slide earlier where we showed the pipeline, we're providing some high-level status and tabular data for each stage of the pipeline from right to left. So we have alerts, deploys, builds, pull requests, and issues all right here. And then again, we're giving you a status of what's going on right now in the pipeline, as well as some recent history on the last 10 failed builds or pull requests or deployments or alerts. And then finally, another dashboard that we're wanting to provide for teams to give them the right observability that they need to drill down into the pipeline and understand what's going on in order to optimize is really around bottleneck analysis for the pipeline. And so what we've done here is we're instrumenting the pipeline, almost kind of tracing it as if it were an application, and providing some data around how are the actual pipelines themselves performing. So what are the stages in that pipeline that are failing? What is the duration of all of the pipelines, the average duration in seconds? And we're cutting that data by the individual stages in the pipeline. So this is a really great dashboard to hop into and get a really quick understanding of, how are my unit tests performing? How are they contributing to the overall pipeline time? How are my integration tests, performance tests, analytics tests? Some of those dashboards, that Mike showed earlier, and really understanding how they sit alongside the other parts of the pipeline. And with that, I just wanted to say, thank you for joining today. We have a Q&A right after the chat. And most importantly, I just wanted to thank Mike for joining today and putting in the time to help show us all the great work that you've done in Sumo.
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity to speak. We're really excited with being able to work with Sumo Logic to collaborate together to form these dashboards. And if you recall, there was some history associated with this. I spoke last year at the Illuminate 2019 and showed these dashboards, and we're excited to be moving into the software development observability dashboards.
Great, thanks again.